future of computing.
It felt like the world went crazy.
Mind-blowing, amazing experiences.
I also think it's unfair to write this thing off as a colossal failure.
Incredible piece of technology.
Welcome back to Re-Review, where we watch older reviews so you don't have to. A year ago, Apple dropped the Vision Pro, promising a spatial computing revolution. The hype was insane, but now things seem quiet. Today, we're diving deep into what reviewers really think after living with Apple's $3,500 face computer for a full year.
Obviously, the build quality on this is, it's Apple stuff. It is premium, it's solid, nothing is Mickey Mouse.
I do find it to be quite comfortable despite it being made of glass and metal and quite heavy. It tilts down on my face a little bit, but nothing really too unbearable. And it's very easy to adjust and tighten around your head, and I like sticking with the default headband because it's very easy to put on. No nonsense, you just slap it on and it's there.
Most egregiously, Apple seriously misjudged the comfort requirements for a face-worn device. Now, while competitors had moved to lighter designs with rigid headbands, Vision Pro prioritized premium materials and aesthetics over, frankly, practical comfort.
Next thing is the weight and comfort. This strap works pretty well for me, but the weight on this, I get it. It's aluminum. That's probably the best material for dissipating heat. But if you could trim things like the worthless eyesight or whatever the hell they call it, so that OLED screen, I mean, trim weight somewhere.
And my concerns, they proved valid. The only thing making the Vision Pro remotely tolerable to wear long-term is stuff like this. Third-party headbands from makers like Globular Cluster, Anna Pro, and others. Rigid straps like these because they maintain pressure on your head and not your face.
But the biggest downside of the design here for me has to be the wired battery pack. When you're sitting down, it's very easy to forget about, but once you get up, you're carrying that thing around in your pocket, which is kind of heavy and it gets a little bit annoying.
I hate this thing. This thing is crap. It slides around too easily. It is heavy, so if you do move or it falls out of your pocket or lap, it will yank down on the side of this thing, which does not feel good.
So, a premium feel, but comfort and that battery pack remain major hurdles for many. Let's see how the software experience holds up.
What still surprises me is the eye and the hand tracking. It still feels like magic whenever I'm looking at an app and just tapping on it and the app opening. There's no controllers. The way that you interact with the whole UI is with your eyes and with your hands.
The UI and resolution is crisp, and using just your hands instead of a physical controller genuinely does feel like the future.
The software here with Vision OS is the real star of the Vision Pro, and honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the best and most innovative things that Apple has shipped in years at this point. It's stunning, intuitive, you don't have to even think about it, and the software seamlessly integrates with your surroundings.
The pass-through cameras, in my opinion, remain the weakest point of the Vision OS experience. The reality is, once the novelty wears off, the grainy, low-resolution feed becomes more distracting than immersive, leading me to default to virtual environments most of the time.
As you're actually using this device, the pass-through on it, it feels like you take a 4K world and you turn it into 1080p or 720p. Pass-through is not enjoyable. It's not good enough that I would want to really interact with the world while using pass-through. For me, the best way to use this is turning on one of the environments because pass-through is just so grainy.
Now, close-up objects like your phone or a book or really small text can appear quite blurry and hard to read, but anything further away looks sharp and realistic. And low light performance could be better as it gets pretty noisy and grainy, but overall the experience is smooth and feels very immersive, and you very quickly forget that you're actually just looking at video screens in a headset.
That intuitive interface is clearly a highlight, but that real-world view through the cameras, less impressive. What about escaping the real world entirely for entertainment?
Really, the movie watching experience is one of the best technological achievements that Apple has ever done. It's still one of the most mind-blowing, amazing experiences to be able to put on the Vision Pro and watch a movie, watch a show, or watch immersive content.
The screen size is massive. The HDR looks great. The black levels, perfect OLED blacks. Watching movies in spatial video is honestly one of the greatest experiences I've ever had.
That's saying nothing about 3D movies, a format nearly abandoned by the industry, which now feels completely revitalized and compelling, more convincing and unlike any other 3D experience I've ever had, because each eye is legitimately fed its own 4K video feed.
Apple Immersive Video, on the other hand, is a new format that goes a step further than the regular 3D video, and it leverages ultra-high resolution 3D video and spatial audio with a 180 degrees field of view in 8K resolution. It creates a truly captivating and realistic viewing experience.
But now it's starting to feel different. There's now starting to be a pretty good and a pretty big library of Apple immersive films. You've got tons of Apple immersive films, from being underwater with sharks, or being next to baby elephants, or being inside of The Weeknd's music video, or being in the first line of a soccer or an NBA game. Apple also released their first ever short film made for Apple immersive video, and it's absolutely amazing that you can truly feel where the future of entertainment is heading.
Apple quietly released the real killer app, which is the ability to convert any 2D photo taken at any time on any camera into a spatial photo. I have spent hours going through my childhood photos taken on film and early DSLRs, converting them to convincing 3D and reliving those memories in ways that I never thought was going to be possible.
There's been a couple moments where I've shown 3D photos to a friend and a family member, and they were literally just crying and crying and crying on how realistic those photos look. And it gets really personal, it gets really emotional, because you can truly feel like that person is there, and it truly feels like you're reliving that moment.
Apple pitched the Vision Pro as a productivity device too, largely thanks to the Mac Virtual Display. Did it live up to the promise?
So 90% of the time, I use the Vision Pro as a virtual workspace. And here's my pitch. It's a portable 4K OLED monitor the size of a movie theater.
I have found the best use case for me, or the best, most practical use, is honestly pairing this with my MacBook with a virtual display. I can essentially look at my MacBook from Vision Pro and get that prompt to expand the screen into a virtual screen. Crystal clear image, 4K, that I can scale to any size.
But the biggest reason why productivity is now, in my opinion, better than working on a Mac is Mac Virtual Display. Ever since that came out, it was a total game changer. When the new wide and ultra wide displays came out and the audio pass-through, from that moment on, I've used it, I think, every single day.
Previously mediocre Mac Virtual Display mode, that thing was fixed just a couple of months ago. They added support for ultra-wide resolutions, and the update, at the same time as fixing resolution stuff, brought a number of important improvements that really pissed me off that nobody else seemed to be bothered by, like sharper text with reduced anti-aliasing, automatic audio pass-through to the headset from the Mac, and visual pass-through of the laptop's keyboard.
It's a cool feature that has gotten better with Vision OS 2, but it's not great. There's some lag in there that if you're moving your head or you're looking at text, there's just a little blur that, for me, it's not worth it. Yeah, it's the latency, that little lag from the computer to the screen. If it works for you, it doesn't work for me.
I can simply tap on connect and a massive display of my Mac will show up. I can edit on the go with a massive display. I've done video editing on it. I've done photo editing on it. I've done thumbnails on it. I've done script writing on it. Just being able to do that with a massive display mirroring my Mac has been a total game changer for me.
Mac Virtual Display clearly got a lot better, turning it into a genuinely useful feature for many, even with some lingering quirks. But what about native apps and gaming?
Okay, let's talk about gaming. I've really tried to use this for gaming. So here's the deal. Casual games, pretty fun. There's a few good ones on the App Store. Cloud gaming works surprisingly well. I've used this with GeForce Now via Safari, and it's pretty playable.
But one of the coolest use cases for the Vision Pro that kind of reinvigorated my love for the headset is actually game streaming on this device. I've been using Xbox Game Pass and the Nexus browser, which works really well. All I have to do is pair an Xbox controller and I can stream games from Game Pass to the Vision Pro with no issues.
Gaming, which could have been a killer application for Vision Pro, has been particularly disappointing. Frankly, the absence of room-scale VR support and controller input, a standard feature on competing headsets, severely limits the types of immersive experiences that are possible in this headset. Vacation Simulator on the Apple Vision Pro sucks because the hand tracking is not good enough.
And look, the Apple Vision Pro app ecosystem is actually quite great. There's one thing that worries me, is that the tech giants are kind of fighting, right? And I really hate the fact that I don't have my favorite app on Apple Vision Pro, and that's YouTube. And I just hate the fact that I have to do it with Safari. The buttons aren't really tappable.
The last thing that really prevents me from using this is the apps. I think Apple blew it with this. I think Apple is lazy using the iPad compatibility. And I feel like native apps, Apple hasn't even touched them. They just lean on that iPad compatibility. That's where potential's lost on the app side of things.
There's growing support for third-party apps. However, app support is still hit or miss. Now, thankfully, some developers have enabled their iPhone or iPad apps to run in the Vision Pro, even though they're not fully optimized. They're just like direct ports. And some things like YouTube and Netflix just aren't available, unfortunately.
Beyond entertainment and sports, Apple Vision Pro holds immense potential in the medical field. Its immersive capabilities, high-resolution displays, and spatial computing features can transform medical training, surgical planning, patient care, and mental health support.
All right, the elephant in the room, the price. $3,500 plus tax plus accessories, it adds up. Is it justifiable a year later?
Something that hasn't changed is the price. So this is still the most expensive AR headset that you can get. So $3,500 US, that translates to $5,000 Canadian. That's for the base storage option.
And the value that you get for that price. What it does better than just owning a regular Mac and a different VR headset is outshined by just how much cheaper those things are at doing those tasks. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic and impressive every single time you put the Vision Pro on. Nothing comes close to it, but it's an experience that I don't think everyone deems is worth $3.5 grand.
Especially when there's a lot of great competition out right now. The MetaQuest 3 is only $500. New AR glasses like the X-Reals are only a couple $100s, and those have HDMI connectivity. And Samsung is launching its own headset later this year.
For me personally, I would say absolutely yes. When you think about everything you get for $3,500, to me, it's definitely worth it, especially if you use it every day and if you use it for productivity, for movies, and for all of its different uses.
As of right now, I have to say for 99% of the population, it's very expensive. It's very hard for me to recommend Apple Vision Pro in terms of its price tag.
Apple is rumored to release a more budget-friendly version sometime in the near future. So in the meantime, they really should be continuing to flesh out the features of the Vision Pro so that when this new cheaper model releases, it'll hit the ground running with a more thought-out OS.
I think a lot of people will be more interested in a less expensive, stripped-down version, possibly called Apple Vision, rumored to be around $2,000. This lower option could open the door for bigger app ecosystems and widespread adoption for spatial computing.
Right now, you can pick one up gently used on eBay for about half price, and I wouldn't be surprised if these numbers drop down to under $1,000 once Samsung comes out with their new headset. So would I buy the Apple Vision Pro again in 2025? Yes, if it was under $1,500.
So 1 year in, the Apple Vision Pro remains a technological marvel, offering a glimpse into spatial computing's future. The hand and eye tracking feel like magic. The display quality for movies, especially 3D, is unparalleled. And features like spatial photos and the improved Mac Virtual Display offer genuinely unique and compelling experiences. However, the significant drawbacks are undeniable. It's heavy. Comfort requires third-party solutions for many. The pass-through is underwhelming, the battery life is short, and the app ecosystem is still developing slowly with major gaps. And the $3,500 plus price tag puts it far out of reach for most. Is it a flop? For a mass-market product, maybe. But as a first-generation glimpse into the future and a platform for developers, it's found its niche. The consensus seems to be it's an incredible, almost magical device if you can afford it, and if its specific strengths align with your needs. Primarily high-end, immersive entertainment and portable, large-screen Mac for productivity. For everyone else, waiting for that rumored cheaper, lighter version or exploring much more affordable competitors like MetaQuest 3 is probably a smarter move right now. What do you think? Is the Vision Pro a glimpse of the future worth the price or a fascinating misstep? Please find links for full videos down below and subscribe for more re-reviews where we watch all reviews so you don't have to.